The jungle was older than memory itself, a place where time moved slowly and danger lived in every shadow. Thick vines twisted around towering trees, and the air hung heavy with heat and silence, broken only by distant animal calls and the rustling of unseen creatures. This was a world untouched by modern civilization, where survival depended on strength, instinct, and the will to fight. Deep within this ancient wilderness, a group of prehistoric humans moved cautiously, their eyes scanning every inch of their surroundings. They were hunters, survivors, and warriors, bound together by necessity in a land that showed no mercy. Their bodies were covered in primitive clothing made from animal hides, and each carried weapons crafted from stone and bone. Spears sharpened to deadly points, clubs heavy enough to crush bone, and tools forged through trial and error. They had learned to read the forest, to listen to its warnings, and to respect its power. But today, something felt different. The forest was too quiet, as if even the predators feared what lurked nearby. The group's leader, a tall and battle-scarred man, raised his hand, signaling the others to stop. His eyes narrowed as he studied the ground. There, pressed deep into the damp earth, was a trail unlike anything they had ever seen. Massive, serpentine grooves cut through the soil, crushing plants and small trees alike. It was not the mark of any creature they had encountered before. It was larger, heavier, and far more dangerous. A low rumble echoed through the jungle, so deep it seemed to come from the earth itself. The hunters exchanged nervous glances. They had faced many threats before, giant predators, rival tribes, and the harsh forces of nature, but this was something else entirely. This was something ancient, something unstoppable. Far away, on the other side of the jungle, another presence moved. The ground trembled beneath each step as a colossal figure pushed through the dense vegetation. King Kong, the mighty guardian of this land, towered above the trees, his powerful muscles rippling beneath his thick fur. His eyes burned with intelligence and primal fury, always alert, always aware of his territory. He was not just a creature of strength, but a force of nature, a king who ruled through dominance and instinct. Kong paused, sniffing the air. Something was wrong. The scent carried on the wind was unfamiliar and dangerous. It was the smell of a predator that did not belong, something ancient and monstrous. His chest rose as he let out a low growl, a warning to anything within miles that the king was aware, and he would not tolerate intruders. Back in the jungle, the prehistoric humans followed the massive trail, their fear mixed with curiosity and determination. They needed to understand what they were facing. Their survival depended on it. As they moved deeper, the signs of destruction grew worse. Trees were snapped in half, the ground torn apart, and the remains of large animals lay scattered, crushed and devoured. Then, without warning, the forest exploded into chaos. A massive shape burst from the undergrowth, moving faster than anything its size should allow. The Titanoboa, a giant serpent of unimaginable scale, rose from the jungle floor. Its body was thick as a tree trunk, its length stretching far beyond what the eye could see. Its scales shimmered darkly in the filtered sunlight, and its eyes glowed with cold, predatory hunger. The humans froze, their worst fears realized. This was not just a predator. This was a nightmare made real. The Titanoboa struck. Its head lunged forward with terrifying speed, its jaws opening wide to reveal rows of curved fangs. One of the hunters barely had time to react before he was snatched from the ground, his scream cut short as the massive jaws snapped shut. Panic erupted among the group as they scattered, trying to avoid the serpent's deadly reach. The leader shouted commands, trying to rally his people. Spears were raised, and stones were thrown, but their weapons seemed insignificant against the monstrous creature. The Titanoboa moved with deadly precision, its body coiling and uncoiling as it hunted, crushing everything in its path. But then, the jungle answered. A thunderous roar shook the trees, echoing through the forest like a declaration of war. The Titanoboa paused, its head lifting as it sensed a new presence. The ground trembled once more, but this time it was not the serpent. It was something else. Something stronger. Kong emerged from the jungle, his massive form breaking through the trees as if they were nothing. His eyes locked onto the Titanoboa, and in that moment, the world seemed to stand still. Two ancient forces, both rulers of their domain, now faced each other. The humans watched in stunned silence, caught between terror and awe. They had never seen anything like this. This was not just a battle. This was a clash of titans. The Titanoboa hissed, its body rising higher as it prepared to strike. Kong beat his chest, letting out another deafening roar that shook the very air. He would not back down. This was his territory, and he would defend it at any cost. The serpent attacked first. It lunged forward, its massive body whipping through the air as it aimed for Kong's torso. But Kong was faster than it expected. With incredible reflexes, he grabbed the serpent's body, his massive hands gripping tightly as the two creatures collided with earth-shaking force. The jungle erupted into chaos as the battle began. The Titanoboa coiled around Kong, its powerful muscles tightening like steel cables. It squeezed with immense force, trying to crush the life out of the giant ape. Trees snapped under the pressure, and the ground cracked beneath them. Kong roared in pain, but he did not yield. His muscles strained as he fought against the crushing grip. His hands gripping the serpent's body as he tried to pull it away. The humans could only watch as the two giants battled, their own survival forgotten in the face of such overwhelming power. Kong drove his fist into the serpent's body, again and again, each blow powerful enough to shatter bone. The Titanoboa hissed, tightening its grip in response. The struggle intensified, each creature pushing the other to its limits. Then Kong changed his strategy. With a surge of strength, he grabbed the serpent's head, forcing it away from his body. The Titanoboa snapped its jaws, trying to bite, but Kong held it back. With a powerful roar, he slammed the serpent into the ground, the impact sending shockwaves through the jungle. The serpent recoiled, but it was far from defeated. It struck again, faster this time, wrapping itself around Kong's arm and pulling him off balance. Kong stumbled, crashing into the forest, taking trees down with him. The Titanoboa seized the opportunity, coiling tighter, aiming to end the fight. But Kong was relentless. With a burst of raw power, he forced himself up, lifting the massive serpent with him. The ground shook as he stood tall, the Titanoboa still wrapped around him. With a final, deafening roar, Kong slammed the serpent against a massive rock formation. Once. Twice. Again. The Titanoboa's grip began to weaken. Sensing his chance, Kong grabbed the serpent's jaws and pulled with all his strength. The Titanoboa resisted, its body thrashing violently, but Kong's power was overwhelming. With one final effort, he tore the jaws apart, ending the battle in a brutal display of dominance. Silence fell over the jungle. The humans stared in disbelief as Kong stood victorious, his chest heaving, his body marked with the scars of battle. He looked around, his gaze falling briefly on the small group of survivors. For a moment, there was tension, an unspoken understanding between the king and the fragile beings before him. Then, without another sound, Kong turned and disappeared into the jungle, leaving behind a scene that would become legend. The prehistoric humans slowly gathered themselves, their fear replaced with something new. Respect. They had witnessed the power of a true king, a guardian of the wild who had saved them, whether intentionally or not. From that day on, the jungle was no longer just a place of danger. It was a land ruled by a protector, a force that ensured balance in a world where chaos reigned. And deep within the shadows, the legend of Kong grew, whispered among tribes as a warning and a symbol of survival.